All right, this is Marketing Food Online podcast, and this is Damien, and we are going to cover rules on selling food from home in this podcast. And by the way, what I'll do is record this and upload it onto YouTube. So I'll give you an opportunity as well for our YouTube subscribers on our Marketing Food Online YouTube channel to see this information and use it as well. So how do I start a selling food from home and permit for selling food from home as well? These are the three different topics, the questions we're going to cover in this podcast. And as always, if this is your first podcast, definitely follow us. We are on dozens of outlets down below this video when I upload it to YouTube, as well as on the podcast itself. Check out the different places that you can find our podcast so you can actually listen to us on the go. So, and as always, if you have any questions about your food entrepreneurship, ideas or questions you need answered, let us know in the comments section on YouTube channel. And that way we can also build out some more content and answer questions for you guys as well. So this is actually a very, very good way to start any food business, is doing it from home. There's a little bit of confusion, or even a lot of confusion in most states as to what you can make, how you can make it, how much you can sell, and where you can sell it. So I'm going to go over a couple of these questions here. And as always, in our library on our YouTube channel, we've got dozens of cottage food videos on different states. So definitely check those out down below as well for those links. So the first question, the rules on selling food from home. So here's basically how it works. If you're new to cottage food business or you're new to selling food from home, there are rules that are in place in order to keep you making food that is safe for people to consume. A lot of times people who start food businesses from home enjoy cooking, but they don't know the aspects of running a business and selling food and abiding by the certain rules and regulations set up by the state for the cottage food industry as a whole. And that's where it gets confusing. So enjoying cooking and starting food businesses sounds great, but they're two different things, and you need to understand what you can do and what you can't do. So every state has in place what's known as cottage food laws. Now, in order for you to find specifically, of course, this being a podcast, I can't show you on the computer, but the way for you to find out specifically your state is to go to Google and type in cottage food law and then the state that you're in. Now, the first 2 to 3 or 4 results that'll pop up, you want to look for a .gov or a state-run website. Those are more specific, and those tell you concisely and specifically what you can and cannot make. Now, as far as the rules on selling food from home, you want to make sure you abide by them, of course, but you be aware of the places that you can sell the actual product itself. Most of the time, it's farmers markets, festivals, fairs, local events. There's only very few states that allow you to produce a homemade food product and then sell that to a retailer or a third party, someone else to resell it, or even a restaurant or cafe. Very few states allow that, but there are some that actually do. Actually, California has a fantastic cottage food law that they just passed about 2 years ago, I believe it was. It's a license A and a license B, and I believe it's the license B that actually allows you to literally make almost anything and sell that to cafes, restaurants, or resell it to retail storefronts. So back to the rules. Now, as you make your product, making sure that, number one, it's on the list of allowed products that you can make. What they cannot allow you to make is what's known as potentially hazardous food products. And these are time and temperature sensitive. And I've mentioned them in a couple of my other videos about how to sell food from home. But you want to make sure that you are properly selling the items that you're allowed to do, and don't step outside of that. The state websites that you're going to find on the Google search are going to tell you very specifically as to what you can and cannot make, and the limitations as to what you can do with that. Now, the other rule that you want to talk about is specifically the labeling, making sure that you follow the labeling specifically that states it is a homemade food product, okay? Now, a lot of states will not require you to put your address. Some of them do. Now, you may also need to put an ingredient listing, which I highly recommend, whether or not your state requires you to do this. Put the ingredient listing on every single thing you make, okay? And an allergen warning label, okay? If you're handling wheat or eggs or nuts or any of that sort within your actual home when you're producing the product, even though the state doesn't say, you know what, Damien, you need to put this on there, you need to have an allergen label, you need to have an ingredient listing, make sure you do. Here's the reason why, is that a lot more consumers, when you go to farmers markets or you go to local events, when they see a full list of ingredients, if they have an allergic reaction to something on that ingredient, they'll have a better understanding whether to buy the product or not. Now, an allergen label is as well if you are, again, producing a product where you're cross-contamination or you've got anything that could potentially get people sick, put that on the label. It's really honestly not that big of a deal. When you're printing the labels from home, put the allergen information and also the ingredients specifically of what's in the product. That's going to also lead to more sales. And here's the reason why for that. is that the more information a consumer can have to buy a product, the better off they are at making a decision as to whether or not they're going to buy it at all. That is a huge benefit for you as the business owner, okay? So making sure that you do that. Next up is your packaging. You want to really look professional, okay? Try to look professional, have a nice logo, create a branded image. Don't be in a rush to create a logo. Make sure you also have that as well. Some of the rules on selling food from home also indicate that you have to have it properly labeled for the net weight, how much of the product is in there. The net weight is actually the amount of the product minus the packaging. So if you're selling, let's just say a trail mix, for instance, you want to make sure you have the net weight, how much product, not the bag, not the packaging, how much of that product is actually in the packaging. That needs to be on the bag as well. And to be honest with you, again, if a state doesn't require it, make your packaging look professional, because you never know who's at a farmer's market buying a product. There could be somebody who is a buyer for a local grocery chain, and he walked into the farmer's market and saw your product, and guess what? It struck him or her very well, and they got a great impression, and they want to bring that product into their store. So the more professional the product looks right off the bat, the better off it is for you as well. So you've got packaging, you've got labeling, and your product itself. Now, some of the other rules are how much you can sell. This is also limited every single state. Some states have a very low, unfortunately, have a very low amount of money that you can actually sell, $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 a year from home. Some of them have a limitless, some they do not have a limit at all. A great state to do it is Arizona. Arizona has a fantastic. Florida is another one too that actually just increased the amount to, I think it was 220,000, 250,000 if I'm not wrong. That will go into effect shortly as well. So some states have a limit on how much you can actually sell. Now, the next thing up for as far as following the rules on selling food from home, you want to make sure that you also sell at places you're allowed to. Some states allow farmers markets, some don't allow festivals or food truck events or other state-run events or private events, catering events and those types of things. Those are also places that you can and cannot sell. Again, specifically check for your state in particular, and that way you will know exactly what you can and cannot sell and where to sell it. Now, how do I start selling food from home? Make sure that you've got the space available, okay? A lot of cottage food laws and regulations on selling food products from your home tell you to specifically have a section of your home available for your production of your product. Also, what you can and who you can't have in your kitchen while you're producing a product to sell. For instance, some states require you can't have pets, you can't smoke. In the area that you're producing your food product, you cannot also produce food from your home at the same time. So if in the morning time you're making eggs and breakfast for your family, and you're trying to put together a batch of your salsa, that's something they don't recommend you do. So be sure and be aware of what you can do when you actually make the product and where you produce the product and who's allowed to be in there as well. That's also a very stringent rule for cottage food laws. And most of the states actually abide by that same law as well, right across the board. Now, permits or licenses. So do I need a permit for selling food from home? That is a great question, because multiple states actually don't have any permits. They may have a food handler card that you have to take a course online or a class online. And by the way, if you do need to, you can check out down below on our YouTube, at least our YouTube channel, I'll pop up a link to a company where you can actually get those permits too, depending upon the state that you're in as well. But check out that resource as well. So is there a permit for selling food from home? Yes and no. Again, your state will have a specific list as to what permits or licenses you may need, and you need to definitely take care of that. And most of the time, it's just a food handler's card or food handler's permit, as it's known. A business license and such is not always required, but that gets me into the next section of this podcast. Number one, I highly recommend that you incorporate yourself. Now, you can do this with a basic company like inkfile.com or Ink Authority. I'll have a couple links, by the way, in the description for those two. I refer a lot of my clients to those websites because it literally takes less than 15 minutes or so to incorporate yourself. But these websites allow you to incorporate your home-based business as well. Damien, my state doesn't require that. Why would I do that? Liability, my friend. You need to make sure that you are covered legally. Even though you're making food from home and you're under the cottage food law, that doesn't require minimal or no liability factor on your part. You will be liable if somebody gets sick. Excuse me. And if somebody gets ill because they've eaten your product or somebody had a reaction, that's going to fall on you. If you're not incorporated, you could personally be sued for that. If you don't have food business insurance, that's my next one up, food business insurance. You need to get a food business policy for your business at home. Yes, there actually are food business companies that will write policies for home-based food businesses. It's about $500 to $600 a year, but I would highly recommend that be another avenue, a layer of protection you need to put in place, even though the rules for selling food from home say, hey, I don't need to have that. I don't necessarily, and I'm in my state, it doesn't say that. You need to do that for your own protection. Now, this leads me to the next thing. If you're doing this from home and you have a homeowners association, did you know that homeowners association can fine you and they can legally tell you to stop making food from your house if you haven't asked them and they've approved it? So a lot of people who live with homeowners associations didn't know this. And if you're starting a cottage food business from home, you can kind of think of this as a permit for selling food from home. Is you need to get a yes or a no from your homeowners association, because that liability is a huge factor and that could play a big role in you getting actually fined from them. Okay. All right. Next up, connect with a local Facebook group and promote your home-based food business. This is a genius way to get absolutely free marketing. Every city, every county, every local community has some type of an event or group on Facebook where you can join and you can spread the word about your product. It is a great way to grow your home-based food business very fast. Now, back to what I was saying before, how do I start selling food from home? I would recommend start the process for promoting and marketing online with your Facebook account or Facebook group ASAP. Do it once you are up and running immediately with your cottage food law, and then your business from home, you could promote that easily through Facebook. Okay, you can get anywhere from a few hundred, even a couple thousand, even tens of thousands of people in a local group that would love to hear about your product and say, hey, look, I'm going to be at the farmer's market on this date. I'm going to be at this festival. Come out and support my small business. Absolutely free. Costs you nothing, just a little bit of your time. So these are a few tips and pointers, definitely very important things to start your business from home, selling your food products. Keep in mind that all of these are going to be beneficial for you in the long run, especially if you have an opportunity to start small from your home and get into a commercial facility down the road. You've already got that advertising, you've got those local permits, you've got the word spread around locally. It's going to help you grow a business once you get to that next level. So if this was a big helpful video, please do give me a big thumbs up and definitely check out our podcast. We're going to upload this momentarily to our podcast. And if you're on our YouTube channel and you're watching us, if you have any comments or questions, let us know. And if you actually have any experience yourself and you're already running a cottage food business, there's a lot of our subscribers love to hear your comments on how you started. Let us know down below too as well. So I'll see you guys on our next video, and I'll hear you more on our podcast.